نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Our Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says that Allah says, this is called Hadith Qudsi. It says, Man aada li waliyan faqad adhantuhu bil harb. He says, verily Allah has said, whoever shows enmity to a wali, to a friend of mine, then I have declared war against him. So we must be very careful. Because sometimes we loosely say, these Oliya that's around Cape Town, okay? And some of us, they grave worshipping. We don't grave worship, we worship Allah. So be very careful how we speak. And the hadith goes further by saying, and my servant does not draw near to me with anything more beloved to me than the religious duties I have obligated upon him. In other words, our fara'id. And my servant continues to draw closer to me with the nawafil deeds until I love him. And when I love him, I am his hearing which he hears, his sight which he sees, his hand with which he strikes, and his foot with which he walks. Were he to ask me of something, I would surely give it to him. And were he to seek refuge with me, I would surely grant him refuge. Now to understand just one aspect of it, I am his sight with which he sees. In the time Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu was standing on the mimbar, and he said, all of a sudden, while Asariya al-Jabal, and he carried on. It so happened Sariya was a commander of an army which were miles and miles in another part of the country, right? And they were surrounded by the kuffar. And Sayyidina Umar saw this with his eyes. Here Allah granted him the sight. I will become his eyes with which he can see. Isn't that amazing? Subhanallah. So we have to be very careful. We don't even know who are walis amongst us. I might be a wali there, yes, but that's a different story, you know. But the important thing to remember here is, and I've told you many times, I've had experience of one wali. He's passed away. That is my Sheikh, Nazim al-Haqqali and Naqshbandi. When I went with him for the first time, and I told you this, for those who don't know, with a book under the arm which was covered, right? It was a pictorial book of the Kruger National Park. And when I went to greet Sheikh, Sheikh says, Walili, what animal book have you got under your arm? Just like that. Now that is called firasa. Ittaqu firasat al-mu'min fa-innahu yanduru bi-nurillah. Right? Beware the sense of perception of that wali who is able to read you with the nur of Allah. So sometimes we talk because of ignorance. So rather keep quiet. Rather, as I say, rather appear a fool than open your mouth and confirm it. So keep quiet. It's best. If you don't know, ask. Because we are very gifted in this part of the world. People come from all over the world to go visit the mazhabs here. And we visit them, why? Like we visit Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah grants us that opportunity again, inshallah, that we visit his grave. So do we visit the graves of the awliya. May Allah grant us that and that hikmah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا يا مولانا يا ارحم الراحمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم انصر المسلمين والمجاهدين في كل مكان أينما كانوا يا أرحم الراحمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.